Health and Safety Site Induction. Russell Road, Toddington. Project Overview. Harkmac Construction Limited have been appointed principal contractor for the groundworks phase of the project. During our phase of the project, we will be undertaking foundations, roads, sewers, and associated works. The project is the construction of 61 residential dwellings, together with the associated roads and sewers, including parking areas and landscaping. Purpose of this induction. It is important that you take notice for the next few minutes, as this video will go through important information regarding this project and safety measures on site, and any hazards or risk you might encounter, and any procedures that you will be required to adhere to. The site is located off Russell Road. Toddington. Hours of work are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday as agreed. Company health, safety and environmental policy. We are committed to protecting the health and safety of all people working at or visiting our site. We plan, manage, conduct and supervise all our work in compliance with legislation and best practice. We want to ensure that all workers have a clear understanding of their responsibilities, along with that of Hayfield Homes. Project Directory. Client: Hayfield Homes. Site Manager: David Farrell. Principal Contractor: Harkmac Construction Limited. On-site canteen has been provided, which consists of a 16-man Oasis unit, where hot and cold water will be available, along with toasters, microwave fridge and kettle for you use on site. Please use, we are using these items correctly, and that we keep the canteen area clean and tidy after use. Please ensure we are using the waste bins provided. If you find this area untidy, please report to the site manager or your supervisor. On-site toilets. Toilets have been provided on-site too at the rear of the Oasis unit, with an additional one portaloos on-site again. Please keep this area clean and tidy after use. Please ensure we are using the waste bins provided. If you find this area untidy, please report to the site manager or your supervisor. Drying room. A solar-powered drying room has been provided on-site for operatives to change out of wet work clothes and store some personal clothing. Site office. The site office is located within the welfare area. This is where you will need to report anything to the site manager, seek first aid, or obtain any permissions for works. This area will also include the site notice board, first aid supplies, accident book, site folders, and safe items of works, signing in book. Notice board items. Emergency contact numbers. Nearest hospital. Fire action plan. First aid details. Traffic management plan. Copy of insurance and health and safety policy. Health and safety law poster. Project notification F10. Construction phase plan. Accident book. The emergency procedures. Whilst on-site, it is important that we follow all on-site procedures. These are available in the site office. Report any on-site accident, near miss, or dangerous occurrence to your supervisor or first aider. If you witness a serious accident, don't panic, shout for help, send someone to notify the site manager and first aider. Try not to move the injured person, but make sure they and yourself are safe until the site manager and first aider take control of the scene. First aiders on site: David Farrell. Fire assembly point is outside the pedestrian gate on Leighton Road. Please ensure you sign in and out of sight. If you do not, we will not know you are here for security and emergency purposes. Fire extinguishers are located at various points around the welfare and refueling areas. See site TM plan for locations. Please only use these if you have been trained to do so. If a fire is identified, please raise the alarm if safe to do so, and remove yourself to the assembly point. Please ensure that we're helping in the prevention of fire by keeping our site tidy, obtaining hot works permits when required, and ensuring we adhere to the on-site fire plan provided. Smoking and vaping is only permitted in the designated smoking area on site. Site layout and site security. Site manager will ensure the site is secure at the end of every day. However, can we please make sure we are? Pedestrian routes and crossing points. Entrances and exits. Harkmac will provide separate entry and exit gateways for pedestrians and vehicles Can we please make sure we use them? Walkways. HarkMac will provide firm, level, well-drained pedestrian walkways that take a direct route where possible. Pedestrian refuge areas. Where walkways cross roadways, or pedestrian walkways are unable to be put in sight, will provide a clearly signed and lit refuge points where drivers and pedestrians can see each other clearly. Visibility. Make sure drivers driving out onto public roads can see both ways along the footway before they move onto it. Traffic, vehicles, plant and deliveries. Please adhere to the site TM plan. At all times, deliveries will be coordinated by the site manager and on-site banksman on site. Delivery times are between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. due to school traffic in the area. Drivers, park cars and vans in the designated places on site. This may evolve, so please seek guidance if unsure. Don't block footpaths and access routes. Stick to the speed limit 10 miles per hour. Plant operators, don't leave the keys in an unattended machine. Check that all-round visibility aids are in place and effective. Carry out a safety check on the machine each day before use. Only trained operators may operate plant on site. Any telehandlers only to be operated by trained and authorized persons. Overhead cables are present on site, so please ensure you pay attention to the overhead cable awareness video following this induction. All on site. Keep clear of excavators and other slewing plant. Don't drive plant unless you've got an operator's certificate. Be aware of vehicle blind spots and keep pedestrian routes clear. Be alert. Site rules. Site rules are displayed within the site canteen, office and drying room. Please ensure you have familiarized yourself with the site safety rules on site. Site rules. Follow instructions given to you during induction and job safety instructions. Wear personal protective equipment when required. Always use a safe means of access. Do not use, operate, repair or modify any plant or equipment unless you are trained and authorized to do so. Report damage and defects to your supervisor. Do not indulge in horseplay. Work tidily and clean up after yourself. Read and follow the instructions on the labels and packaging of products you use. Do not ride on any mobile plant unless it is designed to carry passengers. Adopt good personal hygiene. Do not work under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Report all accidents and near misses. Information and instruction. HarkMac Construction will ensure you have the correct information and instruction to carry out your tasks on site. We or your company's subcontractors will supply you with inductions, method statements, risk assessments, toolbox talks, construction drawings, permits etc. to carry out your work safely. Please ensure you do not start work or begin a new task on site without consulting your supervisor for instruction, and read all information provided for you. Training. Operatives on site should only be carrying out tasks or operate equipment they are trained and competent to use. If you are asked to operate or carry out a task you are not competent and qualified for, please stop and inform your supervisor on site. Additional training will be provided if needed. All operatives will be required to issue their CSCS card during this induction, so copies can be retained on site. Failure to provide this will result in you not being about to work on site. All additional competency cards such as CPCS, NPROS, SMSTS, SSSTS, FAW etc. will also be copied at this time. Supervision. Site supervisors will be available on site. Please ask them if you have any concerns or queries. They will ensure you are working correctly and have everything you need to carry out your tasks safely. On-site hazards. Although there are many hazards on site, and these will be covered in your site-specific risk assessments, we have a few existing on-site hazards to be aware of as we perform our tasks. Excavations and cable detection. Before excavation can begin, please ensure you have obtained permit to dig from the site manager. Checked service drawings. They should be in the site office. Mark their location on the ground. You will need to check the area with a cat and Jenny, as the drawing might not be accurate. Protect services where necessary with barriers or road plates. Dig trial holes to confirm location and depth. Dig safely. Avoid the use of mechanical equipment, picks and forks around pipes and cables. Read all associated method statements and risk assessments. Before you start digging, make sure there are no cables or pipes in the area. Excavations. Don't enter excavation unless sides are battered, stepped or supported. Trench manhole boxes are in place with safe access and egress. Barriers erected around the edge, if there is a danger of someone falling in for deeper excavations, double-clipped with hearers fencing, with excavation signage. Any works carried out in trenches assessed as a confined space will require confined space training, and additions, safe systems of work and equipment. Please see supervisor. Overhead cables. There is some existing overhead cables on site, a goalpost system, and signage is in place. However, if you are operating machinery in this area, please make sure you have consulted the site-specific risk assessments and method statements on site. Storage of materials. Storage of material will only be permitted local to working areas on a temporary basis. They must be regularly removed from working areas and brought back to the compound area, either for storage or to be securely disposed of. No materials to be double-stacked or placed on uneven ground. All plant and equipment must be isolated and secured. When not in use, keys must be removed. All portable work equipment, plant and machinery is to be returned to the secure compound at the end of every working day. Housekeeping. Over a third of all major injuries are caused by slips, trips and falls. Please ensure we maintain the following. Keep walkways clear. Store materials safely. Clear up after yourself. Report good order. Manual handling. Do not attempt to carry or lift anything that is too big or too heavy if possible. Avoid manual handling by identifying automated or mechanical processes. Inform your supervisor and ask for assistance. COSHH. All COSHH assessments available in site office. Noise. Regular, frequent exposure to loud noise can permanently damage a person's hearing. Your employer will assess anticipated noise levels prior to work commencing, and noise should be kept to a minimum. Vibration. Hand-arm vibration is transmitted from a work activity into someone's hands and arms. This occurs when operating handheld power tools, e.g. road breakers, using hand-guided equipment, e.g. a vibrating compactor, or holding materials being processed by a machine. Regular and frequent exposure to hand-arm vibration can lead to permanent ill health. Ensure you are aware of the exposure limits for the tools you are operating. Construction dust. Construction dust is not just a nuisance, it can seriously damage your health, and some types can eventually even kill. Regularly breathing these dusts over a long time can therefore cause life-changing lung diseases. Before work starts, look at ways of stopping or reducing the amount of dust you might make. There are two main ways of stopping dust getting into the air. Water. Water damps down dust clouds. However, it needs to be used correctly. On-tool extraction removes dust as it is being produced. It is a type of local exhaust ventilation (LEV) system that fits directly onto the tool. Face fit testing. All employees cutting on site will undertake face fit testing. FFP3 mask. Remember, RPE is the last line of protection. Sharps. If evidence of needles and other drug-related equipment are found on site, be aware. Any needle stick injury must be considered as hazardous, and the injured party together with the needle taken immediately to the nearest A&E. Leptospirosis. Rats are known carriers of diseases, namely Wales disease, and as such, pose a major health hazard to operatives working on construction sites. Workers are not permitted to have their breaks in the working areas, to ensure that no leftover fragments of food are left lying about, which could encourage vermin. PPE requirements. Look after your PPE and always wear it as required by your employer. Sun protection. Too much sunlight is harmful to your skin. A tan is a sign that the skin has been damaged. The damage is caused by ultraviolet UV rays in sunlight. Keep your top on. Wear a hat with a brim or a flap that covers the ears and the back of the neck. Stay in the shade whenever possible, during your breaks, and especially at lunchtime. Use a high-factor sunscreen of at least SPF 15 on any exposed skin. Drink plenty of water to avoid dehydration. Check your skin regularly for any unusual moles or spots. See a doctor promptly if you find anything that is changing in shape, size or color, itching or bleeding. Drugs and alcohol. Any persons caught in possession of or under the influence of drugs or alcohol will be removed from site. If you are on drugs for any medical reason, please inform your supervisor, site first aider, and the site manager at once. Environmental and waste disposal. All waste should be disposed of in the correct skips provided. Under no circumstances shall liquidly waste, such as diesel, oil, paints or solvents, be allowed to soak into the ground or be poured down drains. This is hazardous waste and should be disposed of in line with GE 700 booklet guidance. No fires are allowed on site. The silt management plan on site will deal with the dewatering and will be controlled by the site manager. No fires allowed on site. Unsafe working will result in immediate removal from the place of work. Verbal warnings will be used for safety breaches that do not present an immediate risk of serious injury. Written warning yellow and red disciplinary cards to be used to address immediate and more serious hazards. Any questions? Thank you for your time and cooperation.